What's good? What's good? I am back. Triple P, Paul Pickett podcast, live on TikTok and pre-recorded for YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and the audio version as well, which goes to Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, TuneIn, Slacker, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and much more. Before I get started, let me open up this new bottle of Dizzle, which is definitely not easy to open up. All right, here we go. This new bottle going. Open sesame. Alright. So this Dizzle, it's agave tequila, cognac. You heard that? Pop. And orange liquor mango mixing. I'm gonna mix it in with some V8 splash. Berry blend V8 splash. Alright. So let's see if we got enough in there. Yeah. We can taste it. Alright, before I get started, don't forget this podcast is sponsored by Promo Palace LLC at promopalace.biz. If you need online marketing promotions for your product, your brand, your service, please check out promopalace.biz. If you're a dog lover, a cat lover, please check out New Litter Apparel at newlitter.com. We got cat t-shirts, cat hoodies, dog t-shirts, dog hoodies, and we got sweatshirts too. And we're going to add actually more sweatshirts tomorrow and whatnot. And we got new cat designs and new dog designs coming every month starting in January. Also, for Shizzle, I got to shout out DizzleBrand.com while I'm sipping on my Dizzle. DizzleBrand.com. Just add ice, Dizzle on ice. Step into the future. Do your Dizzle, DizzleBrand.com. Follow them on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and more. All right, let me get into a couple scores from last night. Miami Heat beat the Pacers. Cleveland beat Washington Wizards. Sixers beat the Hawks. Brooklyn beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. Houston won another game. They beat Orlando Magic. I think it's Houston's fourth or fifth straight game. Pelicans beat the Dallas Mavericks. Utah spanked. Well, they didn't really spank them, but they beat Boston. And Golden State beat Phoenix. And the Lakers lost to the Clippers. And let me pull up a couple. I want to pull up this Denver Mavericks box score. I want to see if Luka played. Man, Luka had a bad night, 21. They didn't really get much out of nobody. Of course, Porzingis didn't play. That's another thing. Dallas is not really that good. Like the year they were up on the Clippers, or they were battling with the Clippers in the playoffs. Porzingis was balling out that year, and I think Porzingis ended up getting hurt. And let me see. Do I gotta pause power? You know what? Let me go ahead and do pause power picks. Since we had some new games and there was a change. Number one, I'm going with the Golden State Warriors. Last week it was Phoenix, but the Golden State came back and beat Phoenix. Even though Devin Booker is out, Golden State won. You know, like Phoenix still has enough firepower to win that game. Number two, Phoenix Suns. Phoenix Suns are number two in Paul's power picks. Number three, I'm going with the Brooklyn Nets. Yes, I'm going with the Brooklyn Nets. Number four, I'm going with the Chicago Bulls. The Chicago Bulls. And number five, the Miami Heat. That's the top five of Paul's power picks for the Paul Pickett podcast. Let me get into a few topics. I'm actually getting to a music-related topic and two sports topics. First of all, let me get into the most loved and hated sports team in America. I'm going to explain why they're the most loved and the most hated. They're the most loved because this sports team has multiple fans in every city, every town, in every state. How many they have varies, but this is the only team in the United States, I think, that probably has multiple fans in every city, in every state, in every town. And that's the Dallas Cowboys. And that's also why they're the most hated, because they have a fan in every city, in every town of every state. I mean, all through every city and every town in North Carolina has Dallas Cowboy fans. Every city and every town in South Carolina has them. Georgia, I mean, it doesn't matter what state you go to. And that's because somebody's grandfathers or uncles or somebody was fans of the Dallas Cowboys long time ago, and they raised their nephews or their sons or their daughters or whatever to be Dallas Cowboys fans. All right, but Cowboys, they're the most loved and the most hated team in the United States because they got the most fans of any sports team in the United States. This, I'm going to have to say, this is their best chance of making the Super Bowl and win, and best chance of making the Super Bowl since that year that Tony Romo threw that pass to Des Bryant that they called him out of bounds, which he wasn't. And I'm not a Cowboy fan by any stretch of the imagination. I am the exact opposite of a Cowboy fan, but the Cowboys did get screwed on that play. Then they won 13 games that year, and that was their best chance in a long time since this year. I mean, they got everything you need. They got a good defense. They got a good enough defense. They got a Pro Bowl quarterback. They got 2 legit wide receivers, and they got 2 good running backs. What more do you need, man? What more do you need? I mean, you need coaching to be good. You need to have a good coach. But they got good enough coaching. He won a Super Bowl, for crying out loud. You know? McCarthy won a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. And if I'm not mistaken, McCarthy might have even coached Brett Favre before, a couple of years before Aaron Rodgers took over. Don't get me wrong, don't quote me on that. Just guessing that he probably did, since McCarthy coached Aaron Rodgers. Like, Aaron Rodgers was the starter like 2 or 3 years after Favre left Green Bay. I think he won it. But this is the Cowboys' best year, the most beloved and the most hated sports team in America. This is their best chance, their best shot since Romo threw that ball to Des Bryant and they called him out of bounds. You know, so all you Cowboy fans, you know, get a little happy, get a little anxious, but don't get too happy, you know, because like Stephen A. said, what can go wrong will go wrong. All right, let me talk about Big Ben Looks Little. When they call Big Ben Little Ben. Big Ben Roethlisberger, he's done. The Steelers, they should have gave up on him last year. They literally ruined the whole season. I mean, you probably got the same results with any of the other quarterbacks they got this year. I mean, they only got 4 or 5 wins. And that's probably what they're going to end with, is 4 or 5 wins. Big Ben's done. They better not bring him back. The Steelers have to look at drafting a quarterback or trading for a quarterback or signing a solid free agent. If I'm the Steelers, I might would go after like Baker Mayfield if the Browns don't want to keep him. The Browns don't want to give him a long-term contract. Maybe go after Baker Mayfield. Something like that, you know. Or because I don't know if there's any good quarterbacks in this draft. From what I heard, there's not a lot of great quarterbacks in this draft. This isn't a draft for quarterbacks. Maybe the year after, but this is not the draft quarterback. So they might have to go with just trying to get a veteran to hold down for a year or two. You know, Baker Mayfield would be a solid. I mean, it would be a solid pick. I would think would be better than the Browns if Browns got rid of Baker and then they got Baker, because I don't know who the Browns are going to replace Baker with. I mean, the Browns were bums, man, in the NFL until Baker Mayfield got there. They were complete bums, man. They were winning like 1 or 2 games every single year, and that's it. So Big Ben looks little. He looks like Little Ben. Little Ben Roethlisberger. He's not Big Ben no more. It's time for the Steelers to just move on. They probably should bench him right now, and just get on with the future. I got a couple political topics, but before that, I'm going to get into this topic that interested me. NBA Youngboy removes all his content from YouTube. I went and checked this channel. He's only got 2 videos on there. They were uploaded recently. They'll probably get removed. Well, apparently, like this, I don't really know like what the move is here. I like to see what the move is. These rappers nowadays, man, trust me, they're a lot smarter than the average Barry Yogi. They're pretty genius. So I think he's gonna figure something out. But NBA Youngboy's made it. He's not made a living, but a lot of his domination comes from YouTube. Now he says he took all his content off YouTube because they're paying him crumbs. And he's dominating YouTube. I mean, that makes sense. If I'm dominating YouTube, why the hell are you paying me crumbs? I'm really interested in where he's going to focus more on uploading the music videos, because that could be like the new wave, the new thing, you know what I'm saying? Or if he's just going to just focus on the streams off of Spotify, Apple, or whatever. But you gotta still upload the music video somewhere. You gotta find another platform. I mean, I don't know what it's gonna be. I'm really interested. Is it gonna be Instagram as his main hub for just the music videos, like Instagram TV, the Facebook fan page? I don't know, but it's just very interesting that a guy that's dominating YouTube like that would just take this stance, and other artists might follow lead and take this stance too. You know what I'm saying? Because YouTube has been paying out. Like, YouTube pays out more for YouTube music than it does for YouTube AdSense. YouTube AdSense pays out crumbs. I mean, like, my Google AdSense checks, they come once every 6 months. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I get a decent amount of traffic all throughout the year through all my websites. You know what I'm saying? And it's like Google AdSense does pay out crumbs, which is the same thing as YouTube AdSense. So it's very interesting. It's just very interesting. He removed all the content, take this stance. I don't know. He intends on re-uploading it or whatnot. But it's interesting. I just like to know what platform he's going to use in place of that. You know, so yeah, NBA Youngboy removes all his content. It's definitely different. It's new. It's a new stance. It could be a game changer. It could be, you know, revolutionary. I mean, but I always felt like the YouTube video brings a lot of action to all the other things. I mean, if you pop it on YouTube, you're pretty much popping everywhere. So I'm a little confused. I'm totally confused. But it's NBA Youngboy. He might have some genius like plan over there of what he's gonna do in place of YouTube for his music videos. All right, we got a couple more topics. Let me get into Germany announces nationwide lockdown for unvaccinated. Also, hit that like, hit that share, comment, hit that follow on TikTok, and I'll follow you back. Let me think about this one. Germany announces nationwide lockdown for unvaccinated. What I want to say on this one. This is going to be kind of offensive, but it is. This doesn't surprise me. The country that birthed the Nazis, which is no different than communists. They were no different than communists. It was communism in a different form. It was just a different name for it. Nazis is just the same thing. This doesn't surprise me. This is communist like Nazi like. It's all about control. You know, it doesn't surprise me Germany's doing this. I don't know how well it's gonna go. I don't know what the political climate's like, but all they're doing is really telling people they can't go have fun that are unvaccinated. I mean, they can still go to the grocery store, if I'm not mistaken, and stuff like that. But, nowadays, I mean, I don't know about Germany, but, I mean, you can order groceries online like I do nowadays. You can order DoorDash. You could, damn near 5, 10 years from now, everything you'll be able to order online. Every single thing. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. To me, it's just all about control. It's some old Nazi communist BS. Doesn't surprise me Germany's doing this because they're the birthplace of the Nazis. Don't think that there's probably still some people in Germany that still agree with that ideology. There probably is. But yeah. It's bogus. I don't really got much more to say. It's Nazi like, communist like. My last little topic: vaccine tests for people flying in, and none for border crossers. Fauci says that it's a different issue. See, this is where the hypocrisy comes in. It's the same issue. It's just one group is doing it legally. There's a large group of people coming into the country legally, like the people that flying in with passports and stuff like that. And then there's a bunch of people coming in illegally. So it's all the same issue. They're all coming in across the border. And whether, Dr. Fauci's he's a hypocrite. And there was something I was thinking about the other day when Dr. Fauci and people were talking about, well, winter's coming, so COVID numbers could rise because everybody's in the house. Wow. Let's think about that for a second. The number one guy in the forefront of COVID and science of COVID, and the number one doctor at the forefront is saying people will be in the house more because it's cold, it's winter's coming, COVID numbers will rise. Think about that. Where am I about to go with this? Well, damn it, wouldn't the damn lockdown do the same damn thing? This is where the hypocrisies come in, the double standards. I gotta cuss. I hate to say it. If people staying in the house for winter would fucking raise the COVID numbers, so would a fucking lockdown, you fucking jackass fucking morons. So basically, all you're telling me is if COVID numbers could rise or will rise because of everybody being in the house because the winter time, well, damn, what the hell would a lockdown do but have everybody in the house? So basically, the lockdown made it worse. So DeSantis was right from day one. He was right by opening everything up because these lockdowns This is what I've always said. I haven't been sick in 3 years. 3 full years. Not a cold, not the common cold, not the flu, no pneumonia, no diarrhea, no throwing up because I'm sick, because I'm none of that. 3 years now. Why is that? Because I work alone and I live alone. I live alone. I live alone. I live alone. So most people are getting sick because of people they live with or people they work with. Who are the people you around for the longest periods of time? The people you live with and the people you work with. If you work 8-hour shifts, you're around people for 8 hours. If you work, 4-hour shifts, you're around them for 4 hours. But when you live with people, you're around people from 8 to 16 hours. Y'all sleeping in the same beds, in the same rooms, in the same houses for 7 to 8 hours. Coughing and sneezing at night, farting, doing whatever you do. So the lockdowns technically made it worse. That's all the doctors are really saying. When you sit there and tell me that COVID numbers could rise because of the winter and people stay in the house because it's cold. Well, damn it. The COVID numbers could rise because of fucking lockdowns, you jackasses, you morons, you idiots. That's why this is the Common Sense Podcast, because that is common fucking sense. That if you're taking a stance that COVID numbers will increase because of people being in the house, because of the winter, because of being cold, then guess what? COVID numbers will increase for lockdowns too, you jackasses. You morons, you idiots. Y'all were dropped on your heads as birth. You're dumber than a bag of bricks. That's just common sense, man, common knowledge. And unless you're not taking that stance now that COVID numbers are not going to rise during the winter. But that's the stance they're taking. COVID numbers are going to rise during the winter because people are in the house. Well, guess what? That's what a lockdown does. Make people stay in the house. It sounds like y'all made matters worse. It sounds like y'all just should let people freely go out and move about. I go to the grocery store every day or every other day, right? Just to get out the house, I go to the grocery store, buy a soda, buy a candy bar, buy anything just to get out the house, right? No mask, all that. I don't wash my hands as soon as I come home. I'm not hand sanitizer. No Lysol. That's another thing. Lysol ran out instantly. Like Lysol was sold out instantly during COVID. And that shit was used early. And then there was a ton of people that had Lysol. People still ain't even buying Lysol heavy. You know what I'm saying? And so it was like Lysol, hand sanitizer, washing your hands, wearing a mask. All these things matter. No, it's really the social distancing and making sure somebody just don't cough or sneeze in your damn face. But it's just so hypocritical for Dr. Fauci to sit there and say COVID numbers could go up because of the wintertime, because people will be in the house because it's cold. Well, let's think about it, Dr. Fauci. Don't you think a lockdown would result in the same thing? And if you don't, guess what? You're the dumbest doctor on the planet. Because that's common sense, man. As soon as you take that stance, that's common sense. So, yeah, man, it's just so hypocritical. You want vaccine tests for people flying in, but people crossing the border legally, it's a different issue. What are you talking about? South America is probably the least vaccinated. Central America, South America is probably the least vaccinated place in the world. They're definitely not mandating vaccinations. They're probably not mandating wearing masks. They probably don't even wear masks in South America, man. I could be wrong on quote this, but I probably can guarantee that the majority of South America is not wearing masks. Let's see. They probably ain't got no mask mandates. Give me 1 second. Hold up. I mean, like, let's look at the countries with the mask mandate. I mean, yeah, man, like South America doesn't even have a mask mandate. Central America, they don't even give a rat's ass, you know? And I'm almost with them, man. Like, you know, you're born to live and you live to die. Life's so fucked up, man. I wonder why. You're born to live and you live to die. Life's so fucked up, man. I wonder why. Great quote by OC rapper, song that he put out, you know. And I don't really feel like they should be forcing all these people flying in to be all these mandates, man. All these mandates are about control, man. Now they gonna just keep bringing out new variants. I guarantee, what are we at, 3 variants in? I guarantee we'll have about 5, 6, 7 variants before it's all said and done. Quote me on that. I'll be pulling this podcast up later, man. 5, 6, 7 variants before it's all said and done. And they'll be trying to bring mandates in during every one. And another thing is, I want to talk about is, okay, supposedly the vaccine is supposed to work on, this vaccine is supposed to work on the Delta variant too. If that's the case, then why do they have to come out? Why are they working on the vaccine for the Delta variant? They already had it out for months and they've been testing it. Why? Because apparently this vaccine doesn't work that great on the Delta variant. And is it going to work on the new variant? Who knows? We don't know how the new variant is minor or more major. And that's another thing, man. Like, you know, when does it end? Well, you got 10, 20 variants. When does it end? When do we get back to just living life freely without this government oversight, this government overhaul, this government control, this government overreach, these government mandates, you know? This is the thing, man. America or no America, amendments, no amendments, rights or no rights. Nobody gets to control how you live life. Nobody gets to tell you how you live your life. It's your life. Like I always say, yeah, there could be consequences to your actions in your life, but it's your life. Nobody gets to control how you live your life. I don't care if you're in a communist country. I don't care if you're in America. Nobody gets to control how you live your life. The decisions you make in your life, that's your choice. Yes, they could have consequences, good or bad, but nobody gets to dictate that, control that. And you should never let nobody control and dictate what decisions you make with your life. Now, when you're a kid and your parents is paying for everything, that's a different story. But soon as you go out in the real world and you start taking care of your responsibilities, paying rent, paying bills, nobody gets to dictate your decisions. They don't. It's your life. It's your choice. And you shouldn't need no amendments, no rights, no freedom of speech, communists or non-communists to tell you that. You know what I'm saying? It's your life, man. I'm always going to be pro-life and pro-choice and pro-consequences. If you're going to be pro-choice, pro-consequences as well. Once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. For those following me or watching live on TikTok, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Please know every time I pre-record this podcast, I go live on TikTok. This podcast is also pre-recorded for YouTube, Facebook, Instagram TV, as well as the audio version goes to Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, TuneIn, Slacker, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Podchaser, Podcast Addict, and more. Don't forget, this podcast is sponsored by Promo Palace LLC at promopalace.biz. If you need online and marketing promotions for your product, your music, your brand, check out promopalace.biz. Also, if you're a dog lover, You're a cat lover. You're an animal lover. Or you're an animal rights activist and you like t-shirts or hoodies with dogs and cats on them or sweatshirts. Please check out New Litter Apparel at newlitter.com. It's NEWLITTER.com. Newlitter.com. Also, for Shizzle, I got to shout out one of my favorite brands, Dizzle. I got some in my V8 Splash Berry Blend right now, and it's so smooth. It's not super strong, but it's so smooth. I mean, if you drink it on ice, it's got a nice little kick to it. You know what I'm saying? If you mix it with juice, it's just so smooth. It doesn't got, that super kick that just gives you headaches and makes you puke up or whatever. But Dizzlebrand.com, just add ice, Dizzle on ice. Step into the future, do your Dizzle. And follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and more. Once again, I want to thank you all for tuning in. My name is Paul Pickett. This is the Paul Pickett Podcast, a.k.a. Triple P, a.k.a. the Common Sense Podcast, a.k.a. your source for music, sports, politics, world events, and more. Thank you for tuning in. Peace. And I'm out.